startup. That is an exhaust fan on the outside of the building. Exhaust fan ties into a greenheck. Looks like it's heated and cooled just to provide some neutral air, makeup air to the space. So basically we're just closing this pressure switch and sending a run signal to R and G, or we're supposed to be closing this pressure switch. First thing I found was it's not closing. So I am drawing a negative 0.37. And I'm negative 0.35 on my pressure switch. It's just not quite enough to close my switch. Like I said, I'm here to do a startup on this thing, and can't start it up until I get a signal, so that's where I'm at. Everything looks clear, so let me get both hands on the wheel here. Once we get this pressure switch closed, we'll go take a look, see what we got outside, and see if we can't get this thing started up. So I'm right at that 0.35 rating, and it doesn't seem to want to close. So got another one here. This is just a used spare on my truck. And it's actually closing. So for testing purposes, we're going to leave this here, and then we'll have to get us another new pressure switch at a lower rating. The exhaust fan seems to do what it's set up to do. This is just a hood system for right below us here, some kind of testing lab. So should have a closed switch now. We'll have to get a new one, but let's go out and take a look at our unit. So this is our greenheck. Just giving everything a once over visual. 100% outside air. So it's going to open that damper, and we're not trying to heat or cool the space. We're just trying to give it the neutral air. About probably 72 degrees or so will be my set point. That's going to be an issue. Not a bad looking unit. First one of these I've seen. There's our burner section. Copeland scrolls. Here's my signal coming from inside, and I do have a closed switch now, so we're gonna have to turn this thing on, verify rotation, and then dig into this control, and we should be able to set a discharge air temperature that it's going to try to maintain. Doesn't look like a bad little setup here. It's hot gas. It's like a headmaster, head pressure control. Alright, well, let's check our phase and dig into this thing and see if we can learn something. We're just going to verify our 3-phase. I need to get me one of the new field pieces that can show me the phase rotation. Well, we got 208 volts. .208 is our red wire, and orange is 240, so we're going to correct that because that's wired wrong. and then we'll go from there. You would think these would come installed, but we're gonna, I guess, play installer too, not just startup guy. Still trying to figure out, crankcase heaters are on, but I don't have power here. Show power on my VFD, so I'm just kind of fumbling my way through this, but we'll figure it out. So we've got our motor saver we had to adjust to the correct voltage. I got it adjusted to 208. I've corrected my high voltage going to the transformer, and right now I'm just got all my probes connected to the gas side. We're not starting the cooling up today. We're gonna let the crankcase heaters go before we can do anything with cooling, but cooling's disabled. I got my manometers ready. My system's disabled right now, and looks like this control is going to do just about everything. It's cooling disabled there, and the heating is allowed. So I'm going to have to basically go into my unit enable and enable the unit, and that should bring the heat on, and supplier temperature set at 72. So I had some installers here, so I had them go ahead and move the supplier sensor and get it mounted. I'm currently waiting on the customer to put the fire alarm in test, because I have no way of letting this heat exchanger burn off. So everything's going to go into the building. That'll be interesting. So once they get that in test, we should be good everywhere else. I'm running about 7 inches water column in, and we'll check outlet of the gas valves 3.5, and then we got a modulating valve for the burners. Not a bad little setup for greenheck. The control's nice. I went through some of the literature here, and we'll have to do a full startup on the cooling, but for now they'll have some heat. So let's enable this guy. I can figure out how to do it. Maybe not. Unit enable, that's right. Enabled. The damper's gonna open first. I'm gonna bring my blower on. Let's see if this heat won't fire. Supplier temperature is 39 right now, and my set point 72. I do have the fire alarm in test. Just give it a minute. Let me check rotation. I'll bring you guys back for the gas. So I learned something here, guys. Basically the control walks you through everything, but this modulating valve, I haven't seen one of these yet. Got a button there and a button on that back side. Press and hold till the light comes on, and then you can adjust the outlet pressure with those buttons up and down. So the control walks you through and tells you what to set everything at. Was in low fire, so 0.33, and basically we give it 5 inches of water column out of here. So we adjusted that, then you adjust high fire and low fire with those buttons on that control. It's kind of interesting. So that's why you always read your book. Everything's a little bit different, and this kind of unit is new to me. So we're gonna watch it cycle again and just go through and verify all of our set points one more time, and then go from there. But that is an interesting valve with a little circuit board on there. So we've made some adjustments. We're in commissioning. That's my combo valve here at 5 inches water column. Let it do its pre-purge and cycle on. 5 inches water column. I'm gonna say yes. That's gonna go into a high fire after it's purged. Not the most efficient way to do this, I don't think, but that's what the control calls for. Let it purge. Verification mode. Combustion fan sped up, and 3.2 water column. It was a 3.5. It's dropping down. To save the set points in this, you have to hit both buttons simultaneously. So that's what I did wrong. And my inlet gas pressure is affecting me still. That's going to be an issue. We're going to have to dig into that and make sure we've got enough gas pressure, because I was at 3.5, and then as my inlet dropped down, everything else dropped down, and I dropped down to low fire, 0.33. So we're going to call this one good for now. We'll have to investigate the gas line. I don't have a regulator out here that I can adjust. It goes into the building, so it's low pressure gas. We may have to increase the pressure a little bit. I had to shut that guy off because it fired and it was affecting my gas pressure over here. So that's going to be a problem for another day. So now we're out of our commissioning mode. Normal operation at 58-degree supplier temp. We're in high fire right now. 3.5 water column. Burner looks good. I got 5 inches coming out. It's starting to modulate down as my temperature goes up. See, I'm at 3.1. That reaches close to its set point, and we should hit low fire. It'll continue to drop. Overshot it a little bit. We're at 77 now. We're just going to run down to its low fire, which is 0.33. We're just going to watch for normal operation right now. Everything looks good. After I got all my pressure set, inlet gas pressure drops on me periodically. We're going to have to investigate that. That might just be a pressure to the building. This is low pressure, so I don't have a regulator to adjust. I started out at 7.9, 8 inches water column in, and you can see I'm at 5 now. So as that inlet pressure drops, outlet pressure of that gas valve drops. That's my outlet here. Still modulating down. Kind of throws everything off with that inlet gas pressure fluctuating like it is. But I think this guy's gonna work just fine until we can get something solved on the inlet gas pressure. We're at 1.1. 84 degrees. And we continue to drop. We're down to 1 inch now. It'll go down to 0.33 is the low fire setting. So this is kind of an interesting setup. It's not too bad once you know how to get in the control and do the commissioning and learn how to adjust that gas valve. That's an interesting adjustment with a little control board and buttons, but you gotta go through all your paperwork and adjust, and it gives you a step-by-step basically. But this guy's looking good. We're gonna watch it for a few more minutes. You can see my supply temp is dropping now as the gas pressure drops, so it'll find a happy point there and try to maintain that 72. So we're gonna call this guy good. We'll watch it for a little bit longer, make sure everything else looks okay and continues to modulate like it's supposed to. So let me know what y'all think. Maybe we'll get some video on the cooling startup when we get to that point, but for right now they got heat. We're gonna call it good. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for all the recent subscribers, and we'll see you on the next one.